come back from a holiday and you didn't even realize I was gone, did you? I know what you're wondering though. Liam, how was your holiday? Well, just look who I spent it with. Yeah, needless to say, I had a fantastic time. Thank you very much.
Liam, what does any of this have to do with Pokemon?
I mean, it's got nothing to do with Pokemon, but it does have something to do with Ace Trainer Liam, and last time I checked, that was the name of the channel. But yes, okay, holiday's over, need to focus, gotta get back into work mode. Apologies if I'm a bit rusty, but let's cover some Pokemon. Our episode begins with Ash and friends in the middle of the ocean riding on Lapras looking for a new island adventure when Pikachu spots a bunch of islands and alerts everybody else. Now they've been starting the episodes this way for a while, but I'll still never understand it. They left Navel Island after getting the Sea Ruby badge in the previous episode. And instead of looking at a map and then heading to the island where the next gym is, or even just heading towards the next nearest island, they apparently always just let Lapras swim aimlessly until one of them spots a random island. Am I the only one that thinks that's a really stupid way to travel? Like, how do you plan your inventory, i.e. your food resources, for a trip of indeterminate length? I guess maybe I'm just a stickler for preparation?
Well, actually, Liam, wait. Is this only your first point?
Oh my god, this is only my first point. Tracey points out that the island Pikachu has spotted looks like it's one of the 7 Grapefruit Islands. Wow, I guess that puts an end to the whole all islands are named after types of oranges theme. But did they really just go,
Oi mate, we've run out of names of oranges to name the islands after. What are we gonna do with this 7?
Grapefruit.
What? All 7 of them?
Yeah, sure. All of them can be Grapefruit Island. It's fine.
how the hell is Jigglypuff following Ash and friends so closely? So this is a Jigglypuff who is apparently as strong a swimmer as a Lapras, the transport Pokemon. Bollocks! Direct quote from Ash.
Wow, look at the size of them. They're humongous.
Phrasing?
This woman mistakes Ash and friends for grapefruit. Oh god, that's hard to say, isn't it? Jesus. This woman mistakes Ash and friends for grapefruit thieves and attempts to batter 10-year-old Ash Ketchum with a piece of wood. This really feels like one of those horrible situations where technically this woman was the victim of a crime, but she'll be the one that ends up going to prison for beating up a child. The woman asks Ash if he thinks he can just sneak in here and steal their grapefruit after they worked so hard to grow it. Not being funny, love, but these are the 7 Grapefruit Islands. You know, the islands that are famous for their plentiful grapefruit groves? Something tells me it's not actually that difficult to grow grapefruit here. In fact, I'd go as far as to say they probably grow pretty well by themselves. Now, if you want to say that harvesting these grapefruit is difficult, be my guest, but growing them on these tropical islands? Nah, mate, sod off. This woman has the exact same energy as
Those damn lemon-stealing whores.
Hey, what the fuck?
It's a whore!
It's a whore stealing our lemons.
Oh god, this is officially the Lemon Whores episode of Pokemon. Well, technically Grapefruit Horse. Okay, hear me out one sec. When this girl explains how her and her team care for the trees to help them grow grapefruit, she says that they spray them with insect repellent and then bring in Butterfree to pollinate them. But wouldn't the insect repellent repel Butterfree? Is Butterfree not an insect in this world? I guess you could make the argument that it only has 4 legs and not 6 and therefore is not an insect by definition, even though it's technically based on one. Or do they have like actual real world flies in the Pokemon world? Wait, do we not have an actual fly Pokemon yet? Like an actual dirty, horrible, chunky, poo-eating housefly? I think Cutifly is the closest, but that's a bee fly, not a housefly. We've got so many simple Pokemon designs out there, but somehow we don't have a housefly yet. Go figure. I know this is most likely the animators just reusing the same shot, but whenever I watch this scene, I can't help but notice that Lapras moves in the distance from right to left before the montage, and then right after the montage, it does the exact same thing, moving behind everybody from right to left. Ash, mate, either give Lapras something to do or put it back in its Pokeball, mate. Poor thing's so bored it's swimming around in circles. And if you've made it this far in the video without being bored, hit the like button, share this video on social media, and leave a lovely comment down below. If you can't think of a comment, just post something something generic, like...
Hey, has it been about 10 seconds since we looked at our lemon tree?
Or just comment the name of the secret Pokemon I've hidden somewhere in the video. And if you're new here, thanks for giving us a chance. Hit that subscribe button if you like what you see, and turn on all notifications and all that jazzy stuff so you never miss an episode of Pokemon WTF Moments or Siri Battles on a Sunday. Everyone panics because it seems that someone is stealing a load of the grapefruit, but it turns out they're just being eaten en masse by a wild Snorlax. The greedy bastard. Oh wait, sorry, we're not really meant to make judgment calls like that anymore. What I meant to say was...
Yas, Queen, slay!
Ash whips out the Pokedex to find out information on Snorlax, but why? You've literally encountered a Snorlax before, mate, and the Pokedex said pretty much the same thing then as it did today. Basically, it eats 900 pounds of food in a day and goes back to sleep. Really wasn't worth it. And are we really getting another Snorlax episode? It's only been 53 episodes since the last one.
Well, actually, Liam, I think you'll find the previous Snorlax episode's plot revolved around trying to get a Snorlax to wake up. This one's about getting one to fall asleep.
Wow, that makes it so much more interesting. That was sarcasm, by the way. Direct quote from Tracey. Snorlax eats more than any other Pokemon. These guys try and stop Snorlax from eating all the grapefruit by gently nudging it. Yeah, lads, that'll do it. Ruby's genius idea is to pick all the grapefruit before Snorlax can get to it. Did a grapefruit fall on your head, love? Just battle the Snorlax. If you knock it out, it won't be able to eat the grapefruit because it'll be knocked out. How is this nobody's first thought? Direct quote from Ash.
Maybe our Pokemon can help.
Yeah, they can. They could battle the Snorlax. Ash sends out Bulbasaur and Misty sends out Staryu to help cut down the grapefruit, and in doing so, they create a neat little pile of grapefruit, making it easier for Snorlax to get to them. Our protagonists are complete and utter numpties. Pass it on. Snorlax runs over to the pile of grapefruit with the same level of joy your nan has as she hobbles over to the Christmas buffet. Tell me her face doesn't light up like this when someone starts unwrapping the sausage rolls. Oh God, cue all the people in the comments like,
my nan's dead, so that don't matter.
Tracey finally decides it'd be a good idea if they weaken Snorlax with their Pokemon and try to catch it, but proceeds to not send out any of his own Pokemon and just watches on as Ash tries. Well, there you go. Tracey has finally done everything he needs to officially claim the title of New Brock. It turns out Ash's Bulbasaur is crap. Well, we kind of already knew that, and can't seem to damage Snorlax at all. When Bulbasaur uses Razor Leaf, Snorlax simply holds up a grapefruit to be sliced up by it. Thing is, Snorlax had to lift its arm to move the grapefruit into the path of the Razor Leaf, so what was Bulbasaur even aiming at? Like, how could you possibly miss a 1,000-pound Snorlax standing in front of you? Ash's Bulbasaur is garbage. Confirmed. Snorlax body slams Ash's Bulbasaur and completely flattens it. Not really a WTF moment, I just wanted to point it out because good riddance. Later, Ash points out that Snorlax just ate the last 2 grapefruit on the whole island. Mate, what a terrible job Ruby and her crew must have done at picking the grapefruit as fast as they can. You're telling me they didn't manage to get any of them into storage? I hate to break it to you, Ruby, but maybe you and your crew aren't cut out for this grapefruit farming business after all. It turns out, to everyone's amazement, this Snorlax can swim. I mean, it makes sense since Snorlax can learn Surf even in Generation 1, but the question is, who gave him the HM? I really love the idea that there's a rogue trainer out there just teaching random wild Pokemon ridiculous moves with TMs and HMs just to cause chaos. Like maybe out in the ocean there's a bunch of self-destruct cloisters taking down boats and stuff like that. Now that would spice up the anime. As the gang chase Snorlax on Lapras, Ruby pulls alongside them and says that she'll head to their headquarters and warn the other islands to start picking grapefruit right away. How about telling all the other islands to gather all available Pokemon to attack and take down the Snorlax? I'm just saying, probably save a few more grapefruit that way. Jessie pointing out that a grapefruit has thin skin and James responding with, just like you, Jessie, is the kind of world-shattering burn I still think about 20 years later. Like I'll just be vibing in my living room and in my head I'll hear,
Thin skin.
and just smile. Meowth tries to open a grapefruit with his claw, but apparently the skin is so tight he almost breaks his paw in the process. I thought they had thin skin. Maybe I'm just not fully clued up on how citrus fruits work, but if the skin is thin, then why would the skin being tight make it difficult for Meowth's claw to pierce it? Like Johnny's are thin and they fit quite tightly, but if you stick a pin in one, the pin will still go right through. Although don't do that, because that'll really hurt your willy. When Snorlax arrives on the island that Team Rocket are on with Ash and friends close behind, Ash comments that stopping Snorlax and Team Rocket won't be easy. You say that, Ash, but history says otherwise. We've seen quite a few of these episodes now, mate. We know the format. Pokemon, you teasing bastards! Based on your track record with the Who's That Pokemon section, I'd have been convinced that this was a dead giveaway that Ash's Bulbasaur was finally going to stop being crap and evolve into an Ivysaur. But with the benefit of hindsight, we know that doesn't happen. Mate, the actual heartbreak. A guy over the radio is panicking and says that as soon as Snorlax got to the next island, it started eating. Could have been worse. Could have started shitting. Ash gets Squirtle to use Skull Bash on the Snorlax, and much like with Bulbasaur, it does absolutely nothing. Jesus, what level is this Snorlax? You'd have thought by now some of these moves would have at least started to bother it. After Squirtle gets crushed, Misty sends out Staryu to use Tackle and Snorlax headbutts it away. But weirdly, Misty doesn't actually ask Staryu to use another move, she just returns it immediately. We didn't actually get visual confirmation that Staryu was knocked out, and it didn't even look slightly scuffed when it was deflected off of Snorlax. Like, I don't understand why after one move and no visible damage to Staryu, Misty gave up on it. That's no way to train it. Misty sends out Goldeen, even though a couple of episodes ago we found out that Pokemon that are based on fish can't breathe outside of water. You can try and make out this is a mistake, Misty, but we all know this has happened many times before. I think you just get off on bringing Goldeen to the brink of death before putting it back into stasis. That is Pokemon abuse. And that is not very protagonisty. Snorlax picks up Goldeen and tries to down it in one. Alright Snorlax, calm down. Didn't realise I was reading the manga. Misty quickly returns Goldeen to its Pokeball so it can survive to be abused another day, and then has the great idea of getting Togepi to use Metronome. Couple of things though. Firstly, there's no guarantee that Togepi's Metronome will actually pick anything useful. For all we know, it could use Light Screen or Bide or even Splash. Secondly, you're forgetting one very important thing. I don't think that Togepi understands that when it uses Metronome, that's called using Metronome. You know what I mean? After Ash reminds Misty that Togepi doesn't know any attacks, which we know is not true, Tracey reminds Misty that Togepi is just a baby. Well then here's a question for you, Tracey. Where are your Pokemon? What, are Marill and Venonat too good to battle Snorlax? Tracey, how do I say this? Oh yeah, of course. Use code ACE for money off G Fuel! Today I'm drinking the fantastic Sour Demonade. It's not the spicy one that has chili in it, it's the sour one. It's lemonade with a big old sour kick and it is beautiful. Oh, it is absolutely wondrous. I am not a big sour flavors person. I'm a bit of a pussy bitch. I don't really like sour stuff, but this tastes like cloudy lemonade. It is so freaking good. Use code ACE to save yourself some money on the wondrous G Fuel, including Sour Demonade. Just remember though, G Fuel is for over 18s only because children don't need caffeine. They're annoying enough as it is, and because it contains caffeine, drink it responsibly. Don't be a dickhead. Since it's obvious that Tracey's not going to be joining in, Team Rocket decide to step in, and after Jessie's Arbok gets flattened by Snorlax, she tells her Lickitung to use Wrap. And Snorlax just uses Lickitung's tongue as a napkin. No, you heard me there. It used Lickitung's tongue as a napkin. It wiped its mouth clean using another Pokemon's tongue. Mate, that is grim. Like, that's DeviantArt grim. Now, I know that James's Victory Bell chomping onto James every time he sends it out is a running gag, but come on, mate. Why would you bother sending it out? Look, after today, I'll stop bringing it up. Maybe. Mate, it's actually such a shame that James's Victory Bell gets body slammed and flattened here. It actually went in for an attack for a change. Victory Bell was finally showing personal growth and then Snorlax ruined it. Man, I'm really starting to dislike this Snorlax, you know. How are you gonna do Victory Bell dirty like that? Misty sends out Psyduck and refers to it as the perfect Pokemon. When Ash questions her about it, she says,
If Psyduck uses a psychic attack, it'll be perfect against Snorlax.
No, it won't, because Snorlax is only weak to fighting type moves. So arguably fighting type moves are the only moves that would be perfect against Snorlax. Come on, Misty, you're a gym leader. Learn your type chart. Now, I'm not ashamed to say I spent a good 10 minutes laughing at this image right here, and I don't know if that means I was just tired when I wrote the script or whether I'm getting old and I'm more easily amused, but who cares? It's a brilliant look for Psyduck. As Psyduck runs around choking on a whole grapefruit and getting no help from its trainer or its friends, mind you, I can't help but realise that red would have been a great colour for Psyduck's shiny form. You know, if it didn't already have a beautiful blue shiny. Ash gets Pikachu to use Thunderbolt, which makes me wonder why he didn't try it earlier, because normally that wins every battle, but then Snorlax just shakes it off and carries on eating. Ash then says Snorlax must be shockproof. It's not though, is it, mate? you're just a crap trainer. Okay, so apparently Ruby and her team have some kind of interactive map that shows just how many grapefruit have been eaten by Snorlax on each island. And it even seems to show the exact area where the remaining grapefruit are. That just makes me wonder, how often does this kind of thing happen? Ruby's acting like this has never happened before, but it seems weird to have such purpose-built tech for just such an occasion if it's something you don't at least expect. It's official. I'm sick of hearing Ruby tell people to pick grapefruit. Seriously, half her dialogue is just
Pick as many grapefruit as you can. Tell everyone to keep picking.
Christ, Ruby, why don't you pick something else to base your personality around? I really like that the pendulum that James uses to try and hypnotize Snorlax to sleep with is a replica of a Hypno's pendulum. It's a nice touch. Hey, sometimes we say nice things here. Unless your mum walks in, then I've got nothing nice to say. Ash and friends watch on as James puts himself to sleep rather than Snorlax, and Tracey, are your fingers alright, mate? You seem to have a thumb, an index finger, and then just a joffin massive hoof. Might want to get that checked out. After the gang decide to try their own methods of putting Snorlax to sleep and massaging it doesn't work, Misty tries to get Snorlax to count imaginary Snorlax jumping over a fence, much like counting sheep. She ends up falling asleep herself, much like James did, and to be honest, the whole thing just makes her look like an idiot. After all, Snorlax is a wild animal. Of course it can't count. Jessie then turns up dressed as Snorlax's mother and tries to convince it to go to bed, but there's a couple of obvious flaws with this plan. Firstly, why would Snorlax's mum wear an apron and speak perfect English? It's supposed to be a wild Pokemon. Secondly, why would it share a bed with its mum? That's just weird, mate. Especially in a bed with only one pillow. Where's Snorlax's head meant to go? You know what? This is anime, so that question's probably best left unanswered. I get that we're getting quite late in the episode here, but the amount of plot convenience on display is insane. Ash and friends decide they need to find Jigglypuff to sing Snorlax to sleep, and we already know that it's conveniently followed them to these islands. But they go and tell Ruby their idea just as Ruby is conveniently discovering her workers have been put to sleep by Jigglypuff, which means that it's conveniently in that very area. I'm just saying, this is all way too convenient to be happening all within the space of 30 seconds. Direct quote from Misty.
Only Jigglypuff could have done this.
Only Jigglypuff could have drawn on someone's face? Come on, Misty, we both know there are many people in the Pokemon world who can draw. I know, that's not what she meant, but that's what it sounded like. I will say, it's really helpful of Snorlax to go around the 7 Grapefruit Islands in numerical order. That really does help the crew plan things better. Like, who knows what would have happened if it had gone from Island 2 straight to Island 7? And I guess it proves Snorlax can count. Snorlax can count to at least 7. Pass it on. You gotta give the gang credit for whipping up this Jigglypuff on stage sign complete with lights in just a matter of moments. They'd have been buggered if none of them were any good at crafting. After Jigglypuff turns up and starts singing, Ash gets Pikachu to use Thunder on Snorlax. Phew, taking a risk with that accuracy, mate. Imagine if it had missed. Also, why didn't you use Thunder earlier and just settled for Thunderbolt? Sometimes it feels like Ash just doesn't try hard enough. Ash catches Snorlax. No, really, that's a WTF moment because Ash barely ever catches Pokemon anymore. And he almost never catches significantly strong Pokemon like Snorlax. Oh, and when I say anymore, I mean up to this point in the anime. I know obviously in the future generations it's different. We're talking about up to this point. As far as we're aware, nothing's happened after this episode so far, remember. Well done though, Ash. I'm actually impressed for a change. Apparently, new trees are sprouting wherever Snorlax went. Mate, that's bollocks. It's been less than 12 hours. Even smaller plants don't sprout that quick. Tracey ponders that maybe Snorlax has a special ability that makes the trees grow back. It doesn't. That's not a thing. Like, why would it even have an ability like that? It's not a grass type or a ground type. It's just another example of our good friends, the anime writers, making up any old bollocks again. I don't even get why. It's not like the kids that are watching are going to be worried about whether or not the trees would grow back. Like, I think if anyone did think that deeply about it, they'd just come to the conclusion of,
I'm sure they grow back eventually.
Misty says whatever it is, she guesses that proves that something good can come out of something bad. I mean, of course it can. After all, I came out my mum, didn't I? So those are my WTF moments of Pokemon Season 2, Episode 14, Snack Attack. Let me know your favourites and any that I missed down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Head to twitch.tv/AceTrainerLiam for all of my live streams and use code ACE for money off G Fuel. But until next time, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.